Since I was down in the room, I figured I'd give you guys a real quick review on one of my most favorite knives of all time. It is obviously a Benchmade axis lock, which is by far the best lock out there in my opinion, just my opinion. Tanto, satin, non-serrated, as I believe all knives should be. And the model is a 722. Yeah, the phone won't pick it up. They made them for quite a while. They stopped making them in G10 and made them only in aluminum for a while, and then they came back to the G10, and then I believe they discontinued it. You see by the clip, this one has some wear. This is my second or third one of these. I generally carry it for a year or two, and then give it to a friend as a gift, still in great condition. This one got replaced by my Sebenza, which hasn't come out of my pocket since I've bought it. But with the axis, this one's kind of tight. You see, they still flip quite well. Right or left-handed, dual thumb stud. Axis is ambidextrous as well. Fast knife. ATS 34. This one's 154 cm. My first one is ATS 34, which I prefer. Semi-indestructible. A great Tanto tip. A great shape to it. A razor blade, which you can hear that. I had to scratch my neck anyways. Of course, the old Benchmade logo. G10 scales. It's about a 3-inch blade, maybe a touch over. Yeah, just a touch over, maybe 3 1/8. I guess it could be a 3 3/8. Doesn't quite seem like that long to me. 3 1/8. Almost full liners. Phone won't pick them up. Skeletonized a little bit of jimping on the under and on the top side of the handle. Some makers overdo it with the jimping and they make it very aggressive, which means after a lot of time and work on that knife, if you're whittling or do a lot of cutting tasks or chores, it starts to take its wear and tear on your thumb. You see just from pushing, you see a little bit of an indent, and you can see on my finger. If jimping's too aggressive, it makes the knife unusable. You see, this doesn't stick out past the liners. It actually is recessed into the liners. And the bumps just barely protrude. It makes it perfect. You can get a great grip if you want one, and it's not too aggressive to the point it makes a knife unusable for long periods of time. To me, the Tanto is my favorite style of any. And after that, spear point. And everything else really doesn't matter to me. The Tanto and the spear point are just beautiful. They're strong, they're functional, and they're usable. People don't like sharpening Tantos, and I think that's ridiculous because instead of having to make a sweep on your sharpening stone and a reverse sweep and try to keep those even through an arc, you have 4 straight edges. It couldn't get any easier to sharpen than to do a Tanto sharpening. And it gives you 2 tips to use. If you dull this one through hard use, you still have this corner to work with, just like you could use with the tip. It just provides you so much more. If you had to slash attack someone, you're hitting them with that corner, and after the cut's made, following through with the tip. You're getting 2 bites in each slash. And for puncturing, your Tantos are generally thicker bladed all the way to the end, which makes the tip stronger. And with that puncture, it's like a splitting maul. You're pushing against the edge the entire time as it tries to push the spine away. You're getting a cutting edge, and once you break that corner, generally a straight blade in. Whereas my favorite Tanto was Microtech Scarab Executive that I had. It has a little belly in the blade, and it's a little blunter. It is just a beautiful knife. I sold that. Another guy on YouTube has it. It's on my favorites videos. I knew it was mine when I saw the Tad Gear sheath that I sold it to him in. But this knife is exceptionally light. It's exceptionally rugged. It can take some serious abuse. It will last 2 lifetimes. The lock, as it wears, only gets tighter because they cut that edge on a ramp. From the right side is shallower than the left side, and as it folds over, and that goes up the ramp, as either the blade or the pin wear, it just keeps sliding forward where they leave room for it to have room to go forward as it wears, it just stays tight. No wiggle, no play. This is the tightest one I've had. The other two flipped a little better. I've tried adjusting the screw on this one. I've greased it. I've done everything. It's just not as well built as the other two I had. That's life. Can't get the other two back. This is the one I'm keeping, and I don't believe they make it anymore. You notice it's raised just a touch here to help with your control, and there's a little bit of a choil. So in the hand, this is an amazing knife. It feels a touch short until you get used to it and you realize that it's pretty much the perfect blade. This is probably, next to my Sebenza, my all-time favorite, and it's going to take years of use by other blades to beat this one, because no matter what, this always ends up back in my pocket, other than the Sebenza now, which has resided there for about 8 months. I hope you guys like this knife. Again, it's Benchmade. They're still out there to be had, and if you can get one, the average is anywhere between $120 to $165. Depends how well you shop and where you find them. If you can find one with the ATS-34, it's an earlier model. I think they were made a little better. The 154 CMs are nice. The G10 just does have some texturing. You'll see that rib down the middle where the screws are. On both sides, the clip can be reversed, but it's always tip up, which I prefer, out of the pocket and open. And hope you guys like it. Stay safe.